Hey guys, this is Hell Hades. This is a Watcher of Realms video. Guys, there's a ton of different summon events coming up for this New Year's. So I'm going to walk through them all now. There's also new heroes as well that have been added. And there's some pretty interesting stuff going on. So let's walk through what we've got. And I'll kind of talk you through what I think of the different events. Let's start here with what's coming on Friday. So we've got you get one random legendary, you get one free offer on the Invocation of Spirits coming up on Friday. There's also going to be a different banner where you just got an increased chance to get legendaries with both of your kind of like main shards. So the get one, you get one free legendary is obviously very cool. Everyone loves that type of event. But there is something different coming on the Sunday, on your New Year's Eve, which might be more interesting to you. Depends what sort of player you are. This one here says, during this event, the first legendary that you summon is guaranteed to be new. So it won't be a dupe legendary. So for anyone who's got a decent pool of legendaries, or if you're looking for someone specific that you don't own already, this might be the better event for you to pull one. For me, this might be the better one because I've got quite a lot of legendaries now. But definitely an interesting one over New Year's. Let me know what you think of this as an event. We've also got here special ancient summoning. So this is using your red summons. And they've got some pretty cool new heroes in here. So let's go through these quickly. Pelagios is one of the Arbiters, one of the new Arbiter legendaries that's come out. Most of these have got this kind of like cost reduction or increased damage for the arena. So they've got one or the other. This guy's got increased attack. He is AoE damage marksman, but with magic damage, which does mean that he can be decent for something like Gear Raid 1, potentially. So it becomes quite unique in that sense. Got a decent range. We've got here AoE damage to multiple enemies on his A1. His ultimate here is dealing 400% magic damage to up to 10 nearby enemies and putting in this kind of like true damage stacker, which the Arbiters have got. So it could be good if you're kind of like putting in with a few others, but very cheap ult actually. Gets 400 on entry. You can get it down to a 600 cost. Pretty damn cheap. What else we got going on? 60% chance of doing Tidal Vortex. Vortex draws enemies towards its center. If the enemies are afflicted with a Radiant Erosion, they'll get a 600% true damage hit to enemies. Flipping heck, that's actually nuts, isn't it? If the enemies are afflicted with Radiant Erosion, which they should be, one stack of Radiant Erosion will be consumed to deal 600% true damage. Is that not insane? Wow, that could be absolutely crazy. Okay, and then we've got another passive here. When there's more than 5 enemies in range, 30% chance of casting Poseidon's Fury repeatedly on random enemies. This can be triggered at most 2 consecutive times. Do we know what that is? That is ult? Yeah, okay, damn. So if there's more than 5 enemies around, he can just trigger his ult. Books up to a 40% chance. If there are more than 10 enemies, the trigger chance is doubled. Like, I feel like he's just going to be a Gear Raid 1 monster. Absolute monster. Let's just check what happens when he's maxed. What you'd expect from a marksman in terms of range, but not the crazy type. Yeah, I mean, feels like, but considering the amount of true damage he could kick out, feels like he could be absolutely nutty. Let's check out this guy then, Uridin. So this is from the Chaotic group. There's not many actually in this group. I did pull, let me know this actually, I did pull this fella, Vladov, the other day, who I think is pretty nutty, if I remember rightly, in the arena. Quite a low cost. Yeah, anyway, he's got bleeds and stuff. I've not seen much about him. Let me know if he is a cool one as well, by the way. But yeah, there's not many in that kind of like chaotic faction right now. And it's kind of like being fleshed out. He's a magic fighter. Look at his sword, by the way. It is an absolute beast of a sword. Right. So what we've got here. After the ultimate's cast, basic attack will turn into Phantom Strike. Deals 150% AoE damage to at most 10. If the ultimate is cast when Potent Surge maxes out, which I guess is going to be, is that his ult? Potent Surge. Rage can continue to recover after reaching its cap, accumulating up to 2 times the cap. All rage will be consumed when casting the ult. Okay, we'll see what that means in a minute. Okay, so if the ultimate is cast when Potent Surge maxes, basic attack will turn into Soul Harvest. Deals 120% AoE damage 2 times at most. Damn, it's got all sorts going on here. It's actually insane. Got the extra range as well for a fighter, which is always good. So this guy could be, again, Gear Raid 1 monster behind the barrier, just punching out a ton of damage. So we've got here Obliterating Blast, quite expensive at 1,000, but you can reduce it to 800, makes it a bit better. Attacks 10 enemies in a large range ahead, dealing 300% AoE damage and doing a stun at half a second, a second stun. When Potent Surge maxes out, does 800% AoE damage. Flipping heck, this guy's a monster as well. A lower HP grants a higher rage regen with a maximum increase of 9 when it reaches 30%. So when he gets lower health, his rage goes up faster. And then Arbiter of Death, when dealing damage using Soul Harvest, 20% chance of executing enemies, excluding bosses. I thought it said including for a minute. I was like, what? Excluding bosses and elites. So on enemies that have got less than 25% health. Again, for Gear Raid 1, that is phenomenal. Absolutely phenomenal. When receiving fatal damage due to the effect, during the effect of Phantom Strike and Soul Harvest, the hero basically can't die, which can happen 1 time per deployment. So you could, again, there could be a good Gear Raid 2 mechanic as well, potentially. He seems nuts, honestly. To me, he seems like he's going to be absolutely nutty. Let me know what you think. And then the last one here is actually a new Lord. So this is a Lord of the Esotericist. I think that's right, the way to say it. So is there a Lord already then? Oh, okay. So Lord I just got. I actually just got Venoma recently. So this guy is another Lord of that same faction. We've got Kame in this faction. I'd say the faction, is this Hollow? Yeah, the faction's kind of, oh no, it's not, it's AI. It's not the best faction in the world, honestly. Kame's brilliant. There's a bunch of mages in here and healers. And Eloin, I guess, as you've got Eloin as well. So, decent faction. What's this give us? More rage upon first deployment if you've got the Lord. That's actually pretty solid. Reduce faction ally skill cost by 25% as well. Okay, so the Lord bonus is good. Okay, 25 costs, pretty high. He's a summoner. He's got summon and he's got range boost. So he's a defender. So he's a tank with magic damage. Immediately summons a skeleton within 2 tiles ahead when deployed. So maybe the skeletons are his tank rather than him. A summon unit that possesses significant portion of his abilities and it can block an enemy. It does AoE damage to multiple enemies based on basic attack. Very cheap ult, 650. Reduces to 550. Summons a skeleton 2 tiles ahead and increases theirs and the hero's damage by 100% and attack speed. 40% chance of incoming damage will be absorbed by hero summons. When he receives fatal damage, one of the summons will be killed instead. When the HP of the hero's summon is below 50%, increases attack speed, which means more damage. So he's almost like an off tank. Like, defender's probably not quite right for him. So it looks like he's going to be a damage dealer. Let's just see what happens when you max him out. Yeah, it looks like he's going to be a damage dealer, but his summons are kind of like the tank version of him, which is pretty damn cool. Plus, he's giving you the Lord skill as well. Yeah, this guy, again, feels like he could be pretty sweet. Let me know what you think of the 3 of them. But for me, 3 interesting champions, very different kits. And yeah, is it going to be worth summoning for these dudes? I mean, feels like it will be. Feels like it is. I don't know. When don't you summon in this game? It feels like a lot of these events are really, really cool. So there you go, guys. I've been Hell Hades. I'll see you soon.